Hey everybody, it's Mr. Winder back here to talk to you about the Iroquois of the Northeast. The name Iroquois means people of the Longhouse. The Iroquois were actually 6 nations combined together. The 5 original nations were the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Seneca, and Cayuga. Later on, the Tuscarora joined. The Iroquois lived in the area we know today as Quebec and New York. Most Iroquois clothing was made from deerskin. In the winter, they wore fringed deerskin shirts. Sometimes men wore kilts and caps that were covered with feathers. Iroquois women wore long deerskin skirts and leggings. In the winter, they wore fringed capes as blouses. Iroquois clothing was decorated with colorful beads and quills. Both men and women wore moccasins. The Iroquois were mostly farmers. The 3 most important crops were corn, beans, and squash. The Iroquois called these crops the 3 Sisters. When it was harvest time, women and children picked corn and gathered nuts. Iroquois men hunted in the mountains for deer and moose. In the springtime, the Iroquois collected sap from maple trees and made maple syrup. The Iroquois built long, narrow buildings called longhouses. A longhouse was home to many Iroquois families. A long hallway divided the longhouse into 2 halves. Each family lived in a small area divided into 2 levels. On the upper level, they stored their belongings. On the lower level, the family slept. The Iroquois formed a great council to decide important matters. Iroquois women were in charge of the village. They chose the men who would be on the council. The women owned the property. They farmed and took care of the children. The men hunted and were good fur traders. They used beads called wampum for trading. Boys learned how to hunt, trap, and fish. Girls learned how to plant seeds, cook, and make clothing.